Greetings, Boogie fans! Michael here, and welcome to the last week of the regular season for MandJTV's Metronome League. Before we get into these battles, though, let's do our usual recap of last week's matches. First was the 0-5 Dragon Knights versus the 1-4 Entry Hazards. The Entry Hazards got a big lead early with big hits and quick KOs, and they kept it that way. Sprinkles fought valiantly, holding on against many close to KO hits, and almost staged a comeback, but eventually Abdonis finished the job. The Entry Hazards won with 2 Pokemon left standing. Next was the 3-2 Intimidation versus the 2-3 Hive Mind. The Hive Mind were at a disadvantage due to losing gold early, and Chanel using Final Gambit before the Hive Mind had even KO'd any of the Intimidation's Pokemon. The Red HP Adventure and Luna were able to get 2 KOs before they fell, but that was not enough. The Intimidation finally get a not comeback win with 2 Pokemon left standing. Next was the 2-3 Leaf Guardians versus the 4-1 Shadowstorm. The battle was pretty balanced at first, but then Buster got Brutal Swing, decimating the Leaf Guardians' weak to dark Pokemon. Snacks and Smiley came in to try and bring things back, but while they were able to KO Buster and Curina due to a nice Cursed Body Whirlpool Trap combo, Frosting and Armando stuck around and hit hard, winning the battle for the Shadowstorm with 2 Pokemon left standing. Then was the 3-2 Mist Mavens versus the undefeated Bolt Strikers. The Bolt Strikers were very dominant right from the start, and while Hopper got imprisoned to try and bring it back, it was arguably a detriment since all of the Mist Mavens Pokemon were at low HP and the Bolt Strikers were healthy. While some Pokemon fell in the process, the Bolt Strikers went on to KO all 4 of the Mist Mavens Pokemon using Struggle, staying undefeated with 2 Pokemon left standing. The MVP for Week 6 is Frosting the Togetic for the Shadowstorm. The Leaf Guardians were on the verge of mounting a comeback, but Frosting came into the battle, stayed healthy, and got some big hits, doing exactly what it needed to do to seal the win for the Shadowstorm. Here are the standings after the Week 6 battles. I am pretty confident that the Bolt Strikers and Shadowstorm are guaranteed first round buys, since even if the Shadowstorm lose 4-0 and the Intimidation win 4-0, the Shadowstorm will still have a higher differential. Meanwhile, the Intimidation and Mist Mavens are guaranteed playoff spots, while the Dragon Knights are officially eliminated from playoff contention. That means the teams to watch this week are the Entry Hazards, Hive Mind, and Leaf Guardians. These 3 teams are vying for just 2 playoff spots. The Hive Mind and Entry Hazards are playing each other, while the Leaf Guardians are facing the undefeated Bolt Strikers. Of these 3 teams, any team that wins is guaranteed playoffs because they'll improve to 3 wins, while the loser of the Hive Mind Entry Hazards battle will only have 2. However, a team that loses can still get into the playoffs if another one of these 3 teams loses as well, and then they win the differential tiebreaker. In short, win and you're in, lose, and another team gets to choose. That covers all the intro stuff, so a reminder to subscribe to my channel since 67% of my viewers are not subscribed, which makes me very sad. And let's dive into the final week of the regular season of MandJTV's Metronome League. Our first battle of the final week of the regular season is the Leaf Guardians up against the still undefeated Bolt Strikers. As covered in the intro, if the Leaf Guardians are able to pull off the upset and win this battle, they are guaranteed a playoff spot. However, if they lose, they have to have a better differential than the loser of the Hive Mind Entry Hazards battle. So if they're gonna lose, they want it to be close. Dexter goes first, gets False Swipe, it's Stab. Good chunk of damage there on to Tinker. The Bolt Strikers don't really care how this goes, but probably want to preserve their perfect record, and it gets U-turn, super effective onto Dexter, about half of its health gone. Bolt Strikers are guaranteed a first round bye, but probably want to try and win this for bragging rights. Have that perfect regular season and then keep it perfect up until they win the whole thing. Rush goes next, gets Gear Grind. More damage onto Dexter. That's just 1 hit. That's gonna be a KO. What a rough start for the Leaf Guardians, who needed to win this battle, and one of their Pokemon is already down on the first turn. How will Jazz Hands the Rampaging try and make up for that? Gets Zing Zap. onto Rush. Bit of damage there, but certainly nowhere close to a KO. Snacks is coming in. So it's now Jazz Hands the Rampaging, Snacks, and Smiley up against all 4 of the Bolt Strikers. Rush, now the fastest Pokemon in the field, gets Wood Hammer, another strong move on to Jazz Hands the Rampaging. Does about 1/3 of its health. Bolt Striker's not pulling punches. Psychic, ooh, strong special move. Wow, they just keep getting strong moves. Jazz Hands the Rampaging already down to 1/4 health, and this is not a great spot for the Leaf Guardians. Jazz Hands the Rampaging tries to spit up, but it hadn't had its lunch today, and nothing comes out. Snacks gets Circle Throw. Bit of damage there, forcing Disco out. That same slot has now had 2 forced switches, and Tinker is now back on the field. It's a bit of a merry-go-round in that spot so far. Tinker now the fastest. Gets Feather Dance. I believe this drops the physical attack of the target, so Snacks' physical attack should now be half of what it was. It's like Charm, but instead of using your charming face, you just throw feathers at them. Rock Throw from Rush onto Snacks. Bit of damage there. Jazz Hands the Rampaging has another chance to do something here. Gets Acrobatics. It will not be doubled power. It still has its Lepa Berry, but it's gotten Tinker down below half. What will Snacks do? It gets Reversal. It's still mostly healthy, and this move will be resisted. Yes. So, wow, that HP bar almost didn't even move. It seems the Leaf Guardians are opting to switch. They don't want to risk Munchlax being stuck in the field with harshly lowered attacks. So they are switching to their Cursed Body, Smiley. Whereas normally Smiley's the last Pokemon to hit the field. Tinker gets Spirit Shackle! And it targets Smiley! Oh, what a deeply unfortunate switch time for the Leaf Guardians. That would have done nothing to Snacks, but it was super effective against Smiley. Smiley now trapped. At least as long as Tinker stays on the field, I believe. Rush gets Bulldoze. That's gonna be super effective against Smiley. And Smiley's already almost down. All the Bolt Strikers are crushing the Leaf Guardians at the worst possible time for the Leaf Guardians. My goodness. Tinker is Cursed Body disabled, but it's just simply gonna switch. Oh, Smiley disabled both of them. So both will likely switch out. Poison Jab though, this is super effective. And a lot of damage there, but not enough to KO. Oh, poisoned though. The poison might finish it. Although maybe not. And it does! The Leaf Guardians get a KO. They're in a tough spot, but it's not over yet. Only one of the opposing Pokemon, Disco. Disco will get to move this turn. Tinker will probably be switched out here. I mean, they could get a guaranteed struggle, but then Tinker would faint. I guess differential probably doesn't matter too much, since they are guaranteed a first round bye now, but they do make the safe play, switch out Tinker, bring in Royboss, so Smiley and Jazz Hands the Rampaging will get to move, assuming Disco doesn't KO either of them. First impression fails? Oh no, it doesn't! Oh, that's right, that was the first chance Smiley had to move, so first impression worked, but unfortunately it targeted the wrong Pokemon. Ooh, something's down. Jazz Hands the Rampaging taken down by a Stab Whirlpool. The Leaf Guardians are down to just 2 Pokemon. Wow, that first impression would have done a lot more damage to Disco, would have been super effective, but instead hits the Poltegeist who resists it. And now, the Leaf Guardians are gonna have to deal with what they've forced teams to deal with all season, an opposing Cursed Body Pokemon. Smiley gets Glare, using a pair of magical eyes that look shockingly like its actual eyes. Wow. Like the perfect Pokemon to use that move. Royboss gets Ember. Who does it target? Targets Smiley, and it is now Snacks against the world. Royboss's Metronome is disabled, but can switch into Tinker. I don't know if the Leaf Guardians can come back from this, but we've seen pretty incredible comebacks. Disco gets Skull Bash, so assuming it doesn't miss or something else crazy happens, it will be damage on Snacks next turn. Let's see what Snacks can get here. Gets Brick Break. Decent power move on to Disco. Disco's to half, but Royboss is still fully healthy, and Snacks would have to overcome Cursed Body. So at this point, Snacks is probably just hoping to make the differential loss less severe, because after all, if they're gonna lose this battle, they have to win the differential tiebreaker. So they want to KO as many Pokemon as they can. Gets Heat Crash onto Tinker, who goes down. Leaf Guardians get another KO. Snacks might actually be able to pull this off, but they still have to contend with Cursed Body, because Royboss is almost fully healthy. Disco's lower. Snacks is up there, though. There's still a chance for the Leaf Guardians to win this. Oh, maybe not. This is gonna be super effective, and the battle is over. The Bolt Strikers have a perfect 7-0 regular season, while the Leaf Guardians season might be over. Our next battle is the Hive Mind up against the Entry Hazards. Both of these teams are 2 and 4, and the winner is guaranteed playoffs, while the loser will have to see who has the better differential between them and the Leaf Guardians, who fell to the Bolt Strikers. Now, for both of these teams, it's actually in their best interest. I mean, both of these teams want a close battle. Blast Burn immediately from a Venture. Super effective on a Mr. Dime, that's big damage. Big opening statement from the Hive Mind. Hive Mind started this season strong, but have been losing a lot since. Meanwhile, the Entry Hazards had the opposite. Started 0-4, but then won 2 straight. Scale Shot onto Abdonis hits 3 times, but as I was saying before, the Blast Burn caught my attention. Both of these teams want this battle to be close, because if they win, doesn't matter the differential. If they win, they win, they're in. If they lose, the smaller their the less their differential is negatively impacted, the better chance they have of having a better differential than the Leaf Guardians. We saw Mr. Dime get Quiver Dance there, setting up. Baton Pass from Abdonis. Abdonis not particularly feeling like, hey, not right now, wants to take a bit of a rest on the bench, despite not doing anything yet. Who will the Entry Hazards send in? They send in Berry, Berries, and Cream. The Cream being... I don't know. I said the Berries and Cream thing without particularly thinking how that would make sense. I was referencing that Starburst commercial. You guys ever seen that? Berries and Cream, berries and cream. You know, you've seen it. Anyways, Chanel comes in for Hitmonchan. Want to get rid of Gold's stat drops. Dragon Pulse, oh, this is boosted. Does not target the Fairy type. This is gonna be pretty big damage. Ooh, a +1 special attack. Dragon Pulse knocks Adventure down to just 30 HP. Barry tries to use Mean Look, but it doesn't affect Adventure. I believe Mean Look doesn't work on dark types. Or is it ghost types? Regardless, it didn't work. Adventure, Prankster gets Stab Bite onto Barry, who resists it. Probably would have KO'd Mr. Dime there if it had hit. Mr. Dime gets to do another Quiver Dance boosted move against Lock On. So if its next move targets Adventure, it will not miss. But of course, I believe it has to actually target it. If it targets Aromatisse, Chanel, then it could miss. Barry gets High Jump Kick, and it doesn't miss. It won't do much damage. It's a resisted hit, but no recoil damage onto Barry, so the Entry Hazards are probably happy to have dodged a bullet there. Chanel gets Rock Throw. Once again, onto the Pokemon that is not weak to it. That might have KO'd Mr. Dime. Mr. Dime is low HP, but they're probably going to keep him in because of all the boosts. Adventure will be switching out, though. Ah, yes, Water, Hydrate, or Die. And there goes Adventure, as I said. In comes Luna the Clefable, who's had some unfortunate performances the last few weeks, but she's hoping to do better today. And wow, Mr. Dime is so boosted. +2 attack, +1 special attack, +1 special defense, +1 speed. It's looking to stick around and hit hard. Gust from Barry onto Luna does a bit of damage. Mr. Dime does have all those boosted stats, but it's not gonna be too hard to KO. Hold back, which is, it's honestly, why did they make that move? Isn't it just the same as false swipe? Did they just make it for Pokemon to use if they don't have claws? I don't really understand. Is it stronger than false swipe? Not really sure. Barry is getting switched out because it is low HP, and in comes Snackanold. And Mr. Dime moves once again. Boosted stats, gets Petal Blizzard. With +2 attack, that hits every Pokemon on the field and does big damage to all of them. Hits Snackanold though, but it did big damage to both Luna and Chanel. Mr. Dime here for offense. Chanel gets Heat Crash onto Mr. Dime. Oh, no, it tricked me. It's onto Snackanold. Does a bit of damage there. Snackanold, unfortunately for the entry hazards, already at half health without even having a chance to move yet. It looks like the Hive Mind are gonna switch Luna out because Luna's gotten low. This battle's quite back and forth. Lots of Pokemon that are hurting, but none that have been KO'd. I believe I think both teams have 3 yellow HP Pokemon and 1 green HP Pokemon, and the green HP ones are the 2 fighting types. Double hit from Mr. Dime onto Luna, and Luna's down. Oh, they switched out Chanel. I'm sorry, I got confused about who they switched out. But that's the first KO. Mr. Dime putting in offensive work, and another baton pass. Snackanold leaving the field as soon as he gets there. Him and Abdonis, neither particularly felt like battling today. But Snackanold's like, nope, Abdonis, you're going back in. Adventure coming back in for the Hive Mind. Will get to move first. Might give the Hive Mind a chance to KO Mr. Dime before it wreaks more offensive havoc like it already has. Adventure gets Power Up Punch, will boost its attack. It targets Mr. Dime, and it's not enough, even with a crit. Mr. Dime holds on and will get another move. There it is! Autotomize! Not grinding gears. It just halves its weight and adds +2 to its speed. Oh, but this is Bone Rush. Who's it on? It's onto Abdonis. So Mr. Dime holds on, and Mr. Dime's stats are ridiculous right now. I think every stat is boosted except defense. Man, is this gonna hit all 5 times? It is! Wow, what a great move from Gold the Hitmonchan. Landing Bone Rush 5 times and KOing Abdonis from green health. Gold's like, no, I'm gonna prove that I'm the superior fighting type in this battle. And smacks Abdonis around with a bone it found lying on the ground. I hope that's where it got the bone. Adventure gets Conversion 2, but it fails. Probably targeted Snorlax, and Conversion 2 depends on the target's most recently used move. Sweet Kiss, mwah, mwah. Mr. Dime giving a mustache-bristled kiss to Adventure, who is now confused. Confused maybe because it liked it? I don't know. Close combat from Gold onto Snorlax, and Gold just has 2 back-to-back KOs. Wow. Gold is not here to play around. Gold wants to be in the playoffs and is putting the team on his back. It is now Gold, Adventure, and Chanel versus just Barry and Mr. Dime. Mr. Dime's gotten a lot of big hits, but Gold is fully healthy and here to get KOs. It's already got 2 of them. Looks like the Hive Mind are switching out Adventure to get rid of the confusion. Excuse me. Get rid of the confusion. Probably because if it hurt itself, it would probably KO itself. Mr. Dime still not down, gets another move, gets guard split. Ooh, not an attack. But they wanted an attack there. It shares its guard. Not really sure who benefited more from that. Gold gets Metal Burst, which fails because it did not take any damage. Metal Burst is like counter and mirror coat for either type, but I think it does less recoil damage. Or less damage back. I think it's like 1.5 times instead of 2 times, not sure. But anyways, Barry cries at Chanel, dropping Chanel's offensive prowess as a result. This isn't out of reach for the entry hazards, but it's certainly in favor of the Hive Mind. Knockoff, this will be resisted by both Pokemon. Oh my god, that did so much damage! Wow! Never mind, it's not resisted. This thing's a Sword Dance Mr. Dime. That did a ton, but I think Gold might KO it here, and it does. Gold gets revenge for Mr. Dime's enormous knockoff damage, and Gold now has 3 KOs. Barry gets U-turn. This will be resisted by both, and it will not flee. The Hive Mind are just one Pokemon away from getting into playoffs. Shadow Bone from Chanel does some damage, but doesn't KO. What are the Hive Mind doing here? Oh, they're switching Gold out. I see. I think this is potentially in order to make sure that it can move first. Topsy-turvy onto Aromatisse, whose dropped stat changes are now positive. So that was actually great for the Hive Mind. Gets Metal Burst, fails, didn't take any damage. Yep, look at that. The minuses turned into pluses. I think they switched out Gold here in favor of Adventure. Maybe because it has more immunities and will move first, and Alcremie's in range of being KO'd. Thunder misses, because I believe Barry was faster than Gold. Eruption, this won't be very high power because it's low HP. Yes, and it's not able to KO either Pokemon. Chanel gets Flamethrower, and this will probably end it. And Barry is down. The Hive Mind are the winners and will now be for sure in the playoffs. Whether it's the Entry Hazards or Leaf Guardians, it's gonna come down to differential. Our next battle is the Dragon Knights up against the Shadowstorm. This battle has no impact on playoffs as the Dragon Knights cannot get in and the Shadowstorm cannot lose their first round bye. However, both teams will still be shooting for a win here. The Shadowstorm want winning momentum going into the playoffs and don't want to be the only team to lose to the Dragon Knights. And the Dragon Knights want to get a singular win and not finish 0-7. Be able to finish their season on a high note. Gex moves first and gets Substitute. Okay, gonna hurt itself here, but it's gonna be protected from a strong hit. So that's a pretty solid first move, I would say. Buster moves next and gets Head Charge. That's a stab normal move. That's gonna obliterate Mr. Prime, who holds on with 5 HP incredibly. Buster takes recoil, but not that much. Wow, big hit from the Shadowstorm. Mr. Prime gets Horn Drill and lands it! Wow! That was nuts! Mr. Prime with an incredibly clutch survival and immediately following by landing an OHKO move. That was incredible! That might be the best thing we've seen Mr. Prime do all season. Looks like the Dragon Knights are rewarding it for its hard work, letting it rest on the bench for a bit. As now, Kirina was sent in to replace Armando, who was taken out before it got to attack. Gex comes in from its substitute, uses Metronome, leaves from the substitute, gets Kinesis, comes back in from the substitute. Can we just take a moment to appreciate how incredibly dumb that is? That it has to come back in to use Metronome, leave, come back in to use the move it was gonna move. Just stay in, just stay on the field. Buster gets Sand Tomb. It will target Gex. And it's a crit. And it breaks the sub. Wow. That didn't last long. However, the sub did protect Gex from the recurring damage. So the sub did help here. Vine Whip from Kurina onto Gex. Super effective, but not very much damage due to Kurina's poor physical attack. So this next turn, Sprinkles will get to move, as it did not get to move last turn, because it was brought in that turn. Kurina's being withdrawn. Ah, looks like on the side of the Shadowstorm, Frosting wanted to have a chance to take on its sibling. Gex gets Slash onto Frosting. Had to take a bit of chunk to come in there. Buster goes next. It gets Hyper Beam. That's a stab move. Strong stab normal moves from Buster today. That's gonna hit Gex and this might KO. It does, and Gex is down. It's 3v3. Let's see what Sprinkles does here. Sprinkles gets Icy Wind, getting a super effective move onto its sibling. Big hit there. Sprinkles trying to prove itself the superior battler in the family. Frosting did want a chance to come in and fight against its sibling, but had to take a beating in the process. Down to only about a quarter HP without getting to use a move yet. These two Toge brothers want a chance to duke it out with each other. DD moves and gets Coaching. This will boost the attack and defense of Sprinkles, which I'm sure it appreciates. Sprinkles gets to go next and gets Trick or Treat. This will add the Ghost type to the target. So now Miltank is Ghost Normal, which is 3 immunities. Not sure the Dragon Knights really want to do that. Frosting gets Power Trip. This will be super effective, but its power is only 20 since Frosting didn't have any stat boosts. Power Trip is basically physical stored power that's Dark type. Let's see what DD is able to do here. DD gets Growl. This will drop the attack of both of the enemy Pokemon. We'll see if one of them answers with a Howl. We've seen that one time, a singular time. We've seen that one time earlier this season. Strength Sap. Sprinkles again, dropping the attack. Buster is now at -2 attack. And Sprinkles does not heal since it has not taken damage. Meteor Mash. Steel physical move onto DD. Does a bit of damage, but a heck of a lot less than it would have if not for those attack drops. Misty Explosion! Frosting gets a stab! This is our first Misty Explosion of the season! And Frosting is down! It couldn't handle the pressure of battling its brother! Wow! We've seen self-destruct several times. Explosion at least once, but that's our first Misty Explosion, and it came from a Fairy type. Wasn't able to take out any other Pokemon though. DD gets Ingrain. Ooh, I'm sure the Dragon Knights are pleased with that. We'll be getting some new health each turn, but it will be trapped, so you have to be careful. Perish Song. Oh my goodness, the Shadowstorm only have 2 Pokemon left. If the Shadowstorm can't win in the next 3 turns, the Dragon Knights will get this win. Iron Tail from Buster onto DD, who holds on. Clear Smog coming from Kurina onto Sprinkles, and I bet the Dragon Knights are extremely thrilled that Indeedee didn't fall there, because if Indeedee fainted, that means the only Pokemon left that would not have heard the song would have been Mr. Prime, who would be relatively easy to KO. But because DD held on, Sprinkles is able to switch out, which means it will forget the song it heard. So that was a very clutch survival by Didi. And that might have sealed the Dragon Knight's win. Unless the Shadowstorm can get some big hits, which we've seen this duo do before. Gear up, not the big hit they need. Karina gets Stone Edge. If this lands a KO something. And Didi is down. Sprinkles will come back in. But now Karina and Buster only have 2 turns left to try and end the battle. And while they could KO Mr. Prime relatively easily, Sprinkles is mostly healthy. The Shadowstorm are running out of time. Ooh, Mr. Prime gets Hail, which will do a bit of chipping away at all Pokemon but itself. An Ice Pokemon using Hail. Sprinkles gets Healing Wish. Ooh. If Healing Wish, if there's a Pokemon in the back, they would have been in trouble. They might have actually thrown the win away if that was a different self-KOing move. Buster's Happy Hour does nothing, as Happy Hour always does. Karina gets Leech Life. This is a bug-type move onto a Pokemon that quad resists it. I didn't even see the HP bar go down. I think that might have done literally 1 damage. But wow, I can't get over that Healing Wish. It used to be Healing Wish would still feint the user even if there were no Pokemon that could switch in to take its place. They changed that in this generation. Rock Slide! This is gonna hit both! Big damage here. Less than I thought, admittedly. Might make him flinch though, and if they flinch, the battle's over. Dual Wing Beat. And it only needs a single Wing Beat to take out Buster. Karina has... Oh, it flinches and the battle's over! The Rock Slide gets the flinch. Karina had 1 more chance to end the battle, and the Perish Song KOs it. The Dragon Knights finally get their first win, and ironically, will be the only team this season other than the champion to end their season with a win. Our final battle of the day is the Mist Mavens versus the Intimidation. This battle has no bearing on playoffs. It could change up the seeding a bit, but both of these teams are guaranteed to be in the playoffs and cannot get the first round bye. So this battle is more for bragging rights and potentially a preview for a playoff matchup itself. As you can see, Xander and Chad, who are not biologically related, they are frat bros, actually, having a chance to battle each other today. Xander got the first move, Steel Wing onto Chad, and Chad answers with a Smart Strike, but onto Springbok instead. Springbok goes next for the Intimidation and gets Whirlpool, but Hopper's Water Absorb makes it do nothing, and would have healed if it had taken any damage. Hopper gets Head Smash. Ooh, this is onto Xander. This is gonna hurt. And Xander holds on. Xander had a big Head Smash Oko in a previous week, and it just had to take one in the first turn itself, but survived this one. And Hopper took some big recoil damage. This might give Chad the opportunity to... Oh, no, Xander needs to rest on the bench, and in comes Chopper. Chopper and Hopper have both been individually fantastic this season, and now the brother and sister are taking each other on. Chad gets multi-attack again, targets Springbok, more damage, getting Springbok down to under half. Let's see what Springbok is able to do here. Gets Recycle, hasn't lost its berry, not getting it back. Hopper gets Strength, flexing those frog muscles, and hits her brother Chopper. Normally Chopper is the, in regards to strict, how much weight it can lift, Chopper is the stronger one, but Hopper wanted to prove there that she's got some muscles too. Disable from Chad fails as it targeted Chopper, who had not used a move yet. Springbok gets Darkest Lariat. This targets Chad. Chad is down, and Chad is down. Springbok took a couple hits from Chad there, was tired of that, answered back with a Spinning Top of Doom. Outrage from Chopper. This is gonna be some big damage and some reliable damage onto Hopper, who holds on and will get to answer with a move. Magical Leaf. This will be super effective on Chopper if it hits. But targets Springbok instead. Springbok not down yet, but getting low. I don't know if that would have KO'd Chopper, but it would have done bigger damage. She felt a bit hesitant. Hellion Spawn comes in, potentially hoping to be the new target for Outrage, which will do nothing, of course, if it targets Hellion Spawn. Springbok getting sent to the bench for the time being to rest. And in comes Thanatos. The two, at some point or another, Intimidation MVPs are now on the field. Hopper resting as well, and in comes Bermuda. Hellion Spawn goes first thanks to Prankster. He gets Thunder. Who does it target? Doesn't miss. Targets Chopper, that's super effective. Chopper holds on though, but is now paralyzed. Outrage targets the fairy type. And now it's confused. Well, that was a rough turn for Chopper there, but it's still standing. But it cannot switch due to the fact that they did the Intimidation switched last turn. Sword Dance, ooh. Hellion Spawn now a terrifying offensive threat. It's already got great attack, and now it's double great. Bermuda gets Mach Punch and hits the ghost type. Not gonna do much of anything. Thanatos gets Submission. Who's it on to? It is on to Hellion Spawn, who takes that a lot better than Bermuda would have. The Mist Mavens are wiping sweat off their brow after that move. Chopper is confused, does not hurt itself. It will get a chance to move. Chopper gets Ice Punch, physical move, onto Hellion Spawn, who's now frozen. Ooh, the Mist Mavens did some bad freezing last week. Let's see if they're gonna deal with karma for that. Excuse me, it wasn't last week, it was the week before. It was against the Hive Mind, which was week 5. Chopper now is able to switch because it survived its required turn of sticking in, getting rid of the confusion, and Hellion Spawn immediately thaws out. Miss Mavens, no, not to let the freeze stay, but the Focus Blast targets the wrong Pokemon. Would have been a KO on Springbok there. Worry Seed coming up from Bermuda. Springbok losing its Unburden, now Insomnia. I don't think the Intimidation have a whole lot of problems with that. Let's see what Thanatos is able to do here, and it gets Clanging Scales. Dragon move does not affect Hellion Spawn, but still hits Bermuda, but doesn't do very much damage due to its excellent special defense. Well, at very, very excellent HP and good special defense. Hellion Spawn moves again, gets Low Sweep, targets Springbok. This will be a KO. Miss Mavens finally take out one of the Intimidation's Pokemon. Thanatos still healthy. Poliwrath and Alakazam at red HP. Bolt Beak from Bermuda. Bolt Beak does double damage if the user moves before the target, which it did, but Bermuda has such poor physical attack that didn't do that much. Freeze Dry from Thanatos onto Hellion Spawn, who holds on. So it is now a matchup of each team has one green HP bulky Pokemon and 2 red HP Pokemon. So this is a neck and neck match. Very balanced right now. Hellion Spawn gets Fake Out, which fails. Not the first turn of the battle. Xandra gets Dive. Get to see who this will target. Dark Pulse, but it targets Xandra, who misses it. Would have been super effective, would have KO'd. But Xandra was going for a swim. Thunder from Thanatos onto Hellion Spawn, and this should KO it. Hellion Spawn is down. The Intimidation take the advantage. But now Hopper is coming in And this dive is going to hit one of the Mist Maven's Pokemon. I bet they are hoping it targeted the Hellion Spawn slot, so Hopper can get some nice healing from this dive. If it hits Bermuda, it's gonna be some damage. The dive hits Bermuda! That's great for the Intimidation. Not as great for the Mist Mavens. Hopper gets to move next and gets Power Gem. It will be on Xander, who is down, and it's 2v2 again. Bermuda gets Stomping Tantrum, another physical move. Bermuda's getting a lot of physical moves this battle, but Thanatos is now down to under half. Thanatos gets minimized, so it's gonna be a lot harder to hit now. Ms. Maven's certainly not appreciating that, but it does weigh a lot less, so it might be a lot of damage if they can get a Heavy Slam or a Heat Crash. It's fitting that the final battle of the regular season has Chopper up against Hopper. Hopper gets to move first, gets Baton Pass, which fails. Not what it needs right now. Bermuda gets Flower Shield, but that only works with grass types. Ooh, a failed turn for the Mist Mavens. And that might end it for him. Rock Blast from Thanatos onto Hopper. And Hopper's down. It's now just Bermuda versus Chopper and Thanatos. Will she be able to bring this back? Chopper is fully paralyzed. She has a chance. Big, powerful special move that hits both targets could win this for the Mist Mavens. But any decently powered physical move might take Bermuda down. Gets Glaciate. That will take out Chopper for sure. But not enough on Thanatos. It is the two bulkiest Pokemon on these respective teams up against each other. Bermuda versus Thanatos. Thanatos gets Swallow, which fails. This is down to the wire. This is one of the closest matches we've had in a while. Bermuda gets Lunge, but it misses because of the Minimize. Thanatos gets Shell Smash. Gonna be a lot easier. It's gonna be easier to KO, but if it gets a strong enough physical move, Bermuda might just be done. If you can hear my cat scratching at the door, I'm sorry. She doesn't understand the importance of sports broadcasting. Thanatos, now faster thanks to the Shell Smash, gets Focus Blast, but it misses, as Focus Blast tends to do. Bermuda has a chance to end it here, gets Incinerate. Strong special move, and Thanatos holds on! But its Lepa Berry is burned up now. Wow! Thanatos, will it be able to end this here? Cross Chop! That's the perfect move, it lands, and it's over. Thanatos holds on by a thread and gives the Intimidation the win in a battle that doesn't impact playoffs, but was certainly entertaining. I normally don't do much talking after the battles are over, but I wanted to do it this time so I could show you all the new standings and the playoff picture. These are the final regular season standings. The Bolt Strikers finished with an incredible, perfect regular season, but I'm sure they're telling themselves it don't mean a thing without the ring. The Shadowstorm also get a first round bye, which they clinched last week. The Dragon Knights finally got a win, but it was meaningless as they were already out of playoff contention. The Hive Mind won and are therefore in, while the Entry Hazards and Leaf Guardians both lost. The Entry Hazards had a better differential though, and also would have won the head-to-head tiebreaker if their differential was the same, meaning the Entry Hazards skate in by the skin of their teeth, while the Leaf Guardians season is over. Here is the playoff picture with the remaining 6 teams. The 3-seed Intimidation will face off against the 6-seed Entry Hazards, while the 4-seed Mist Mavens will face the 5-seed Hive Mind. These matchups will be best 2 out of 3, and the winners will move on to face the Bolt Strikers and Shadowstorm. The first round of the playoffs will be one video here on my channel next week. A minimum of 4 battles, a maximum of 6. So We'll just have to wait and see. I hope you guys are excited for the MML playoffs. I certainly am. But that's all I have for now. So until next time, big fans, gotta catch them all.